As a 33 years old woman in 2026, if you ask me right now, what is the best decision that I have made for myself in this particular reality that I live in, this particular world I live in, what is the one best decision that I have made for myself? I will tell you that not getting married in my 20s and not having a child in my 20s is the best decision that I have made for myself. These two things, they are the best decisions that I have made for myself. And I'll also tell you that if you're somebody that is really interested in actually having a family, you want to build a family, you want to create a family as a woman, the best time for you to do this is in your middle 20s or your late 20s, because once you get to 30, it is over. Ooh, it is over for you. Ooh. It is over. And there are two reasons why I believe so much that it is over for you when you get to 30, when you get to 30 years old. Why I believe that it is over for you. There are two reasons. The first reason, we're going to be talking about these two reasons. I'm going to be explaining to you in detail why I believe so much in these two reasons. Now, the first reason is that the chances of you meeting someone that wants to marry you at 30 reduces drastically. The chances of you meeting someone that wants to create a family with you as a woman, that chances reduces drastically once you get to 30. And the second reason is that the chances of you being interested in being a wife or a mother, that particular chances also reduces drastically when you get to 30. And I'm going to be talking about these particular two reasons. But before we start, my name is Nkechi Nyere, and long time, for those of you that have been following my channel for like 4 years now, you guys know what this channel is all about. I have been sharing my journey with you as I am waking up. The more I become aware, the more I share and talk about these things with you. I have been deconstructing so much, and that is why I've not really had time to make a proper YouTube long form frame video for you guys, because I have been deconstructing so much. And once you deconstruct, like, it takes a lot of your energy. Once you get a particular understanding about something very important in your life, it takes a lot. And also, I've been trying to like build a relationship with myself, and that also has been taking a lot of my time, so I've not had time to make this particular video. So long time. Welcome back. My camera is not clear. Sorry about that. The information is better. The information is more important than the clarity of my camera, because I tried using my back camera. I didn't know that after 90 minutes of me yapping, I didn't know that it stopped recording along the way. I didn't know, because I couldn't see. It was on my back camera, and I did not want to repeat that particular mistake. So I decided to use my front camera, and it's not actually clear. Like, the front camera is not clear, but I don't care. What I want to say is more important. But let's get into it. So what happens when you get to 30? Why does your chances reduce? Like, why does it reduce? Now let's talk about the second reason, which is your interests. The interests, you as a woman, the interest you have towards being a wife and a mother, why it will reduce when you get to 30. Now I'm going to use myself as a case study. Now bear it in mind that everything I'm about to say on this video is from personal point of view and also some personal observations, so it is not a universal truth or universal fact. Please don't come and start making it look like your own perspective too is the only universal truth or fact. We all have, opinions to things. We all have understanding of different things in different ways, and we should all be accommodating of each other. Okay, so let's get into my own view, my own point. Now, as a woman, using me as a case study, while I was growing up, I was made to believe that one of my main purpose, or two of my main purpose of being here on earth as a woman, or coming here to this world in this particular body parts that I have, which is breasts, my vagina, and is because I was actually created to be a mother and a wife then a mother. So this is what they made me believe, because I was religious before, and my religion taught me that I was created to be fruitful and I was created to be under a man. So I believe that so much, and I believe that this was like my main purpose of coming into this particular reality. So once they started teaching me about this thing and they started grooming me, they don't just teach you, they also groom you to be a good mother and a good wife, to be an active mother and an active wife. So it was something that came with my programming. Now along the line, I created, you see what I was saying, thank God I had the camera facing me. Now along the line, I created this particular reality while I was growing up, that I will get married and I will have children. Now even though the bearing of child, like giving birth, was very scary to me, because I saw what a lot of women went through when they were giving birth, and I did not want to actually experience that. It was scary, but then I had no option, because my religion taught me that this was my role, and it felt like I had no option. They did not teach me in a way that made me feel like I had option or I had a choice. They made me believe that this is something that has been ordained, and every woman that has come into this particular reality has done this, so you are also meant to do it. So I felt like I didn't have a choice. I didn't have any option or any other, you know, this is what I was meant to do, and I believed it so much. So I used that particular understanding to create a reality in my head where I'm able to achieve these things. You know, if I don't achieve any other thing in life, I would actually achieve being a wife and being a mother. Now I thought that this was what I was meant to do, so I grew up with a particular understanding, wanting to be a mother and wanting to be a wife. When I got to 25, I almost got married. I have actually done almost everything that they asked me to do. Getting married, I did the introduction, the list was collected. I just want to summarize. Now if you want to hear that story, the story is actually eye-opening. If you want to hear that story, I can actually make a video and talk about the story properly, like how I was almost married and how it did not happen again. But then I was almost married, somebody came to knock in my house, like how they do it normally. Now he comes to knock and make his intention known to your parents, and your parents will ask him to go and bring his people, and his people, they will come talk about it, talk about what they want in your house, how they want to pluck a flower, you know, drink to that, celebrate to that, and then my dad will go make this intention known to his own people in his village, and they'll create a list and they'll give it to this, you know, the whole process. Now I have gone through the process of doing all those things, the introduction, and they got the list, and then it did not happen. Now when it did not happen, I was heartbroken, because a reality that I have created in my head while I was growing up and I almost achieved it did not come to pass. It didn't happen again, and I did not know what to do again. I felt heartbroken, I felt deviated, and I was lost for a moment. This happened when I was 25, 26. Now before it happened, now I want to say something. When I was about to do like the first step, which was the introduction, I did one prayer back when I was religious, right? I believe that if I pray so much in something and I cry my heart out, and I cry and, you know, open my heart so much that God sees my, you know, that's my belief. Or then I felt like I believe that whatever it is I pray about to come to pass. So I did a prayer where I asked God, and I spoke to the walls in the room that I was praying. I spoke to the sky, I spoke to the ground that my knees were on, and I said, if this is what I am meant to do, let it come to pass. But if it's not, scatter it. I prayed and I cried, and my eyes got swollen, because I meant that prayer like it was from my heart. And I forgot about that prayer. Now after the introduction, after the list was gotten, and then this whole process did not happen again, I forgot that I made that prayer. I forgot that I've told God that, you know, if this is not what is meant to happen, let it not come to pass. Like, let it not happen. But if it is what I am meant to do, let it come to pass. I've forgotten, and I was heartbroken, and I went through a process of crying and feeling betrayed by God. And then in less than 6 months, my life changed. I went to learn a skill, which is fashion designing, how to sew, how to draft pattern. While I was learning, I created a YouTube channel, and I started sharing my process of learning on YouTube. And in the process of doing that, I noticed how my life shifted, because when I started sharing, I started building a community, and in building that community, I started to see how important and how worthy that I am, how valuable I am to the society. I started to build a different image and perspective about myself. I started to understand that I have other choices in life. Like life is not all about, you know, me being a mother or a wife. When I don't achieve that, it doesn't mean that I have failed as a human being. You know, my life can be anything, it can be everything. Now remember, I said that I did not know that I had a choice. I felt like that was what I was created to do. Now building a community and learning a skill and sharing my skill and being able to share my skill and realizing how good of a teacher I was, or I am, made me started to see different aspects of myself that I love, that I fell in love with. And in that moment, I started to realize that for a very long time, even while I was growing up, I've never really wanted to actually be a wife or be a mother. Remember, I said that there was a time where I thought, I believed, or sorry, I was scared that, you know, giving birth, because I've seen what these women go through, and it was scary. It was scary that I did not want it, but I felt like I had no choice. So I had to, you know, work towards it. Something that I knew that I did not like, but I was working towards it. And also the wife part, I've always wanted to be in love. That was it. Like, I've always wanted to be in love, but not to be married. Do you get? I've never really wanted to be married. I've always wanted to be in love, or to be in a relationship where I have access to someone and they have access to me and we're able to experience life. But I've never thought about marriage in the actual sense, like the actual sense of how people in society see it. I've never really thought about it like that. And let me give you guys something small story about me getting married. Now, when the guy asked me to marry him, he did not do all those going down on his knees and proposing to me. He just told me his intention, how he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me, and we planned about how the family was going to be and everything. I did not bother about him not going down on his knees and giving me a ring, because I've never thought about marriage in that aspect. Like, I believe marriage should be about two people in love. So I never actually wanted the whole marriage ceremony, those things. I just wanted someone that was in love, and then we're just going to start a family. Do you get? So when it did not happen, and I started to see another aspect of myself, I started to realize how I actually did not want to be married, and I don't want to be a mother. And that is when everything started to change for me. Now, this thing happened when I was 25, 26, 27. Now, when I got to 28, 29, a lot of things changed about me. I have been living for a very long time with my sisters, and we have been all working, creating income, building communities, being part of different communities, you know, doing things. And in doing that, I started to realize how much of a choice I have. I started to realize how much power I actually have, you know, and how much it is my responsibility to live a happy life, to create an experience for myself, you know, to live a life that I actually want to live, not something that they expect me to live, not something that society has actually designed for me to live. How I have the power to create whatever it is that I wanted. Now, this is why I say when you get to 30, it is too late, because the chances of you wanting that particular expectation to come to pass, that particular achievement, the chances of you wanting it reduces, because once you start to live on your own and you start to really understand a lot about the world that you live in, and this will start happening once you get to late 20s, it is over. Okay, it is over. Your interest, you will not want to give up the power and the freedom that you have already, especially if you are creating income, especially if you have access to income. Now, this is something again that I want to say. A lot of women don't know this, but the reason why you want to get married is because you want to feel secure. That is why a lot of women get married. It can be security. You want to be secured based on your safety. It can be financially. You want to be secured based on your financial level. You want to feel secure based on something. Most of the time, it is all about security. This is why you're getting married. And I will tell you that 70% of the time, a lot of women want to get married because of financial security, because of they want to be secured financially. You want to have access to money, and that is why you want to have kids. That is why you want to have a husband. You don't want to have these things when, see, let me tell you something. Once you are a woman that has access to financial security, you are safe. I don't think you will want what you think you want right now. You will not want the husband or the child, because they take a lot of your time and your attention. And this is something that once you get to 30, you have been taking care of yourself, you have been getting money, you wouldn't want to share that time, you wouldn't want to share that energy, you wouldn't want to share your space with these people. Trust me, that is something that is going to change when you get to 30, and that is why it is going to be too late for you when you get to 30. Okay, now let me go deeper into this thing. So for me, I started to deconstruct a lot. I started to deconstruct religion. I started to deconstruct my society, the environment that I live in. I started to deconstruct money. I started to deconstruct relationship, love. I started to deconstruct a lot. And in deconstructing this thing and just tearing them apart to understand it properly, I started to see so much that I cannot unsee. First, marriage was something I also deconstructed, and I realized that marriage is an institution that was created for the benefit of men, not for women. The meaning is actually in the word. It is just that a lot of us don't take our time to make research on some of these things that we're trying to live up to, some of these things that we're trying to achieve. They just tell us and we follow. Our parents tell us and we follow. Our religious place of worship tells us we follow. We don't actually take our time to make research. If you're a woman and you sit down right now, take your phone or take something that has a lot of information inside, a book, something, and look for the meaning of marriage. Try to find out what marriage is, and you're going to find out that marriage in its word, marriage in the word, if you check the true meaning, the original meaning, it is something that was created for the benefit of man. It means for a woman to be given to a man. It doesn't matter if he pays for you. It doesn't matter if they are collecting you based on the debt that your parents are holding. It doesn't matter if they are how they got you. It's just for a woman to be transferred to a man under the care of a man, and for the woman to just go with the man and play her role, which is matrimony. That is why there is a matrimony in wedding, or marriage matrimony, or I don't know how to put it. It's because it is for you to be transferred to a man. It doesn't matter if you want to be transferred or not. So you see, the one that they have to do ceremony, or if they paid for you as a child and they betroth you, or how they I don't know how they say it. It is because it doesn't matter how they get you. They can pay for you, they can inherit you as a property, they can, however you are coming, that particular union is for the benefit of a man. So it's an institute that was created to benefit men, and it doesn't benefit you in any way, because you come and you deliver and you deliver and you deliver. That's, you serve and you serve and you serve until your energy runs out, and that is it. That is just it for you. So when I found out the meaning of this, when it comes to being someone's wife, already I don't want to do all those things. I don't think I want to live in a reality, or I want to have an experience where I am being drained to that particular level. I want to be in love, of course. Who doesn't like love? And I want to experience what else do I want to experience? But not at the detriment of losing myself or draining my energy, not at the expense of me losing myself. That is not what I want. Now, I know how back then, when I was not aware of these things, how I thought I had no choice, but now I know I have a choice, and if I am to choose, I'm not going to choose that particular reality. Another thing that I got to understand is bringing a child into this particular world. When I started to understand what it means to bring a child, the more I am very sure that I do not want to be a mother. I don't want to bring my child into this particular world. Now, most people do not sit down to think, why am I bringing a child into this world? What does that child have to benefit? What is that child going to benefit from coming into this life? I know our parents did not think about that, and they brought us into this life just like that, without thinking about our well-being, thinking about how our life is going to turn out. They did not think about us. They just did whatever it is that they're doing blindly, and they brought us into this world. But I want you to sit down and ask yourself, in the last years, or in all your life that you've been on this earth, what is that one beautiful thing that you want your child to experience? What is that one beautiful thing that you want to show, or you want another child to come into this particular reality to experience? I want to think about it. Now, I am actually saying this because if you're somebody that is not financially stable, you shouldn't be bringing a child into this world. If you're somebody that is not, that does not understand the world that you're living in, you have not deconstructed, or you have not healed from the traumas that you absorbed while you were growing up, while you were growing up, the things that you absorbed. If you have not healed from those things, you should not be bringing a child into this world. If you're somebody that you have not even deconstructed your belief system, you are still under the same belief system that your parents were under, the same, please don't do it. Now, this is something that I got to understand in my 30s, and it has actually made it very over for me to want to achieve that particular expectation of being a wife and a mother. And in saying this is the point I'm saying. As a young girl, right, your brain does not start to develop until you're 25. Now, once you get to the age of 25 and your brain starts to develop, this is when you start having a sense of your identity. This is when you start having a sense of who you are. Now, this is going to happen from 25 to 30. When you get to 30, the stage changes again. And you get to a state where you don't just have this awareness of who you are. You become fully like involved with who you are. You become fully like you embody who you are. And once you start to embody who you are, it comes with knowledge, understanding. It comes with so many things. It's like your head opening up to the world that you live in. You start to understand every freaking thing. And once you get to that point, it is over for you. You wouldn't want that family. And if you want that family, you're going to be so picky. You're going to be so freakily picky that the chances of you actually picking somebody is going to be 0. Because now you're going to be very picky. You're going to be very it's like being very careful with who you spend your time and your energy with. You know, you see, Charlie, it's just a lot. And this is the reason why I say do it before you get to 30, so you can still be interested. Now, the first reason, which is the chances of somebody picking you, is going to reduce drastically. Now, this is it. Society don't like older women. Society do not like older women, and this is why society actually encourages younger women to get married. Because once you're young, once you're in your early 20s, or even before you get to 20 and you get married, it means that your brain has not properly developed. It means that you're innocent, you're naive, you cannot think for yourself. You know, it means that you are controllable. It means that you can be easily manipulated. And who are the people that can easily manipulate you? Men can actually manipulate you. Men can actually control you. And this is why they make sure you get married, you get stuck while you are young. They make sure that they stick you to somebody, to a man, so that you already be under control before you get to that age where you start to, you know, fully develop your brain. Because men will never marry you when you're old. They know that the older you are, the uncontrollable you are, the uncontrollable you are, the less manipulated you can be, the less they can manipulate you, the less they can see. The older you are, the wiser you are. And men were actually groomed to prey on them younger, to prey on women younger, to pick younger women, because younger women are less responsible. Younger women are less you don't have goals or ambition, or you don't have like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to put it. Like, I'm losing words. Younger women are very submissive. Younger women are very obedient and very submissive. Younger women. So this is something that they have groomed these men to understand. This is something that these men also, it's not just them grooming, it's grooming. They understand this very well. A man can never go for an older woman. A man, not a boy, because young boys like older women, because older women are sweeter. Older women are they are more grounded. Older women are more freer and more, because they already know themselves. So young boys love older women. But then men, that's a man from 25, cannot get married to a 25 years old girl. They rather go for somebody younger, you know, because they believe that the more younger or the more older they are, you know, the more older they, like, the more age, the younger you are, the more they can control you, the more you're going to be playing the roles that society has groomed you to play. Okay, I don't know if I'm making this first point clearer, but I hope you guys understand. Men have been conditioned and programmed to go for the younger ones, because the younger ones are easily controllable. younger ones have no say. The younger ones will follow and obey blindly. The younger ones has already been programmed and groomed for their own services, so they always go for the younger ones, and they are scared of the older ones because the older ones know themselves. Once you get to 30, a man knows that you know yourself. A man knows that you're not going to deprive yourself from a good time just to give him a good time. When you're older, the man knows that you're not going to sacrifice your time and your attention or your energy for him. You know, they know that you already know yourself, and they don't want to deal with that. They don't want that. That is why they go for somebody younger. That is why they go for somebody, you know, that they can control. So you see, these two reasons are the reasons why I believe that if you are very interested in getting married, in building a family, in giving birth, please do this at a very young age. Please do this. When I mean at a very young age, from 25, please, not younger than 25. From 25, just start doing it. Start looking for your husband and just get married, you know, and start giving birth. Because once you pass that age and your sense come back to you, like your sense develop and you start to have sense, you will not want that again. And these men will not want you because they already see you as someone that is troublesome. They already see you as someone that knows her ways, she knows herself, she knows her powers, she's in her power there, and they don't want that. They don't want to deal with that because they were never taught on how to actually be a man. They were never groomed on how to actually be a man. You see, men of these days, 40, 50, 60, deep down, they are still 10 years old boys because society did not take their time to groom these men to be men, to be proper men, to be exactly the man that they promised us, the men they promised us. They groom the women to be the women, to be everything a woman is meant to be, but not that these men, and that is why they now groom them to want the younger women, to go for the younger ones, so that with their 10 years like brain, with their 10 years old brain, they can still manipulate and control a woman. Get it? Get it? If you don't get it, forget about it. So now, in that being said, in saying that, I would like to summarize with something. There's something else I want to summarize with. Now, another thing I want to say is that the child, when it comes to giving birth, I want to use this to summarize. When it comes to giving birth, the child that you're going to raise when you're 30 is different from the type of child or the kind of child or the kind of product of child that you're going to have when you're 20 or you're going to get when you're 20. I don't even get how you train your child when you're 20 is different from how you train your child when you're 30 or when you're 35 or when you're 40. Now, because the older you get as a woman, this thing I'm saying is as a woman, because I don't know about men. I don't know if they grew. To me, all men are the same. I don't know if they grew. They can be more intelligent and smart, but you see, self-awareness is something that they lack, almost all of them. Anyways, as a woman, the more older you get, the more wiser you become. And the more wiser you become, it means that the product of child that you're going to have when you're 30 is different from the product of child that you're going to have when you're 20, because in your 20s you don't know anything yet. In your 20s you still don't understand the world that you live in your 20s you still don't understand this world and how it operates. So what you're going to be teaching your child is exactly what they have taught you. But when you get to 30, you become a little bit experienced. You become, let me not say a little bit, you become more experienced, you become more aware, you become more in like inner standing, you become more understanding and inner standing, you become wiser, and the child you train when you're 30 is going to be a better product to the society than the one you train in your 20. I'm just saying this. I'm not saying this that you should get, I'm not saying this to make you get to 30 before you marry. I'm saying this that if you actually want to train a child well, I'm going to advise you to wait to your 30s. You can get married in your 20s, but wait to your 30s to give birth and train a child, because the kind of child you're going to train, right, is different. I don't know why you want to bring a child into this world, but if you want to do that, I believe that the best time for you to have a child as a woman to train is in your 30s, because now you're wiser. You're going to have something to actually teach this particular child. You're going to have something to actually pass down to them. You're not going to train an insecure child. You're not going to train a child that cannot critically think for themselves. You're not going to train a child that is blind or ignorant. You're going to train a child that understands a lot about society, about themselves, about expression of self, about freedom that they have, the power that they possess as human beings. You're going to train a well-behaved child, a child that is ahead in almost every aspect of life. But your 20s, you're going to train a child that is lost just like you. You're going to train a child that is everything a society is that is everything that society is right now, because most of us come from a generation that gave birth to us at a very early age, and that is why we are who we are right now. A lot of us are trying to heal and deconstruct. We're trying to find our way. We're trying to wake up, because the generation that brought us, that's millennials, the generation that brought us, millennials, they were very ignorant. They were very especially Africans, they were a lot of things. And this is why it is better for you to get to a certain age before you make this particular decision. Another thing is, this one should be for another video, but yeah, that is it. So this is going to be the title of this video. If you get to 30 before getting married, you're doomed. Does it sound like a good title? Does it sound like a good title? Anyways, thank you for watching. I will see you guys on the next video. Bye for now.